Figuring out if your twins are ready for preschool is one of those parenting decisions that sounds simple until you actually have to make it twice. For two kids who may be in very different places developmentally, the good news is that there are some real concrete signs to look for. And once you know what to watch for, the decision to put your kids in preschool is a whole lot clearer. Let's talk about getting your twins ready for preschool today on the podcast.
Welcome to the Dad's Guide to Twins podcast, the podcast that'll help you survive and thrive as a father of twins. Now, here's your host, the author of the book, The Dad's Guide to Twins, Joe Rawlinson.
Hey everybody, this is Joe Rawlinson. Welcome to the podcast. I'm glad that you're with me today. As always, you can find me on the web at dadsguidetotwins.com, where you'll find tons of resources to help you along your twin parenting journey, as well as you can listen to all previous podcast episodes. Today's show is brought to you by my merch store. It is called twintshirtcompany.com, where you'll find dozens of t-shirts designed specifically for you, twin dad, and for your twin family. Head on over to twintshirtcompany.com to check out all those designs today. All right, let's talk about when should your twins start preschool, and are they going to be ready? Most preschools accept children starting around age 2.5 to 3, with some programs beginning as early as 2. But remember that age alone doesn't tell the whole story. Readiness is about developmental milestones, not just the number of candles on the birthday cake. Preschool readiness is really a combination of social, emotional, language, and self-care skills. Your twins might hit on all of these at the same time, or one of your twins might be a step or two ahead of their sibling. Both scenarios are perfectly fine. Let's talk about some of the signs you're looking for if your twins are going to be ready for preschool. Sign number 1 is that they're showing interest in other children. One of the clearest green lights for preschool is when your child starts to actively seek out other kids to play with. For most toddlers, this starts to kick in around age 2 to 3. Your twins already have a built-in playmate with their twin, which is a genuine advantage, but that doesn't mean they're automatically ready to navigate a full classroom of new children. So watch for signs like your twins trying to engage with kids at the playground, when they are showing curiosity about other children, in social settings like a church or the grocery store, or they're getting excited when they see other kids playing nearby. If your twins are mostly content to play with each other and show little interest in joining a group, they may just need a little more time. Of course, having a twin sibling can actually make this transition easier. Your kids already know how to share space, take turns, well, at least some of the time, and work alongside another person. That's a social head start most singleton kids don't have when they walk through that preschool door for the first time. Okay, sign number 2 that your twins may be ready for preschool is that they can handle short separations from you. Preschool means time away from mom and dad. So if drop-offs at the grandma's house still result in full meltdowns 30 minutes in, preschool might feel overwhelming right now. Emotional readiness for preschool is largely about a child's ability to self-regulate and feel safe without you as the parent nearby. A good baseline is whether your twins can spend a couple of hours with a trusted adult, like a grandparent, a babysitter, or a family friend, without extended distress. A few tears at drop-off is totally normal and expected, even for kids that are ready for this. But if the separation anxiety is intense and prolonged, it may be worth waiting a bit or doing some practice runs first. One thing to keep in mind with twins, they often provide emotional comfort to each other. Your twins might handle separation from you better than many singletons simply because they always have their co-pilot with them. That's one of the unexpected perks of having two at once. So if you need to practice separation before preschool, try to arrange some short play dates where you leave your twins with another parent for an hour or so. Try dropping off your kids at story time at the local library. Practice a consistent goodbye routine so your kids know what to expect. And keep goodbyes short and confident. Lingering makes it harder for your children. Okay, sign number 3 that your twins may be ready for preschool is they have basic self-care skills. Preschool teachers are wonderful, but they're managing a whole classroom of children. Your twins will need a baseline of independence to keep up. These don't need to be perfect, but some comfort with basic care goes a long way. For example, can your twins use the toilet independently or close to it? Many preschools may have rules about what kind of self-sufficiency the children need before they're accepted into that school. Can your twins wash and dry their hands by themselves? Can your twins feed themselves with a spoon or a fork? Can they put on and take off their shoes? Can they communicate basic needs like hunger, thirst, or needing to use the bathroom? Most children are developmentally ready for a preschool environment somewhere between ages 2.5 to 3, and mastering some of these self-care pieces is a big part of that equation. So take a look at where your kids stand right now. Can they do those things that we've talked about? Sign number 4 that your twins may be ready for preschool. Their language skills are coming along nicely. Your twins don't need to give speeches to the United Nations, but they do need enough language to communicate with teachers and classmates. This means being able to express basic wants and feelings. It means being able to follow step-by-step instructions. For example, if the teacher says, put your backpack on the hook, or put the backpack in the cubby and sit on the rug, they need to be able to understand what's being said and asked of them. It's worth knowing that twins on average can experience slight speech delays compared to singletons. Twins may also develop kind of a private communication style with each other that can temporarily slow down the development of a broader language skill. This isn't a red flag, it's just something to be aware of. With our girls, for example, they did have some speech delays, and they did have a very kind of unique way of talking to each other that they understood and that we understood as their parents, as family. But it was really hard for other people outside our family to understand them when they were very in this toddler preschool age, and they eventually ended up needing some speech therapy to overcome that. So most of these challenges can be overcome with time or some structure, some therapy around it. So if you have any concerns about your twins' speech development, check in with your pediatrician before you make the preschool decision. Many areas offer free early intervention speech services for toddlers, and the preschool itself can actually be a fantastic environment for language growth. All right, sign number 5. Your twins can follow basic instructions. Preschool runs on a routine and group expectations. Your twins don't need to be perfectly compliant little robots. And honestly, if they were, that'd be kind of concerning. But they do need the ability to follow simple directions and participate in structured group activities, even if they're brief activities. So watch for whether your twins can sit for a short book reading or an activity, if they can follow a 2-step instruction, and if they can shift from one activity to another without a complete meltdown. These are all things that you can practice at home. If group time at home ends in chaos every single time, your twins might need a few more months to practice before stepping into a classroom setting. That said, preschool is also where kids learn these skills, so it doesn't have to be perfect before they walk through the preschool doors. Teachers are trained to help your children learn these skills and practice these skills. All right, that brings us to a question that every twin parent has is, should your twins be in the same classroom or separate ones? This question comes around for preschool, comes around for kindergarten, elementary school, and beyond. This is a question that every twin parent, I know we wrestled with it too, and there's no single right answer. It really comes down to your specific children and what your gut tells you about their relationship and their individual personalities. Consider the same classroom. If your twins are very shy or anxious, but they do comfort each other. Consider the same classroom if you're starting preschool on the younger side and the security of them being together would help with that transition. Consider the same classroom if your twins' developmental and social levels are at the same level. Consider the same classroom if you want a simpler, more streamlined drop-off and logistical experience. There's no shame in this. It's wonderful if you can just drop your kids off at one place instead of having to go to 2 different places at 2 different times. Now, the opposite. Consider separate classrooms if one twin tends to dominate the relationship and the other twin kind of holds back because of that. Consider separate classrooms if they're socially confident and curious about other kids. maybe separate classrooms if you want them to develop their own individual identities and friendships. Or if their school has a policy on twin placement. This is worth asking early on. Some schools have kind of a rule or policy that they only put twins in separate classrooms. That kind of decides for you. The Twins and Multiple Births Association suggests that separation tends to become more beneficial as children move through school, but at the preschool level, the comfort factor is worth weighing heavily. So my suggestion is visit the preschool, talk to the preschool director about their experience with twins, and don't feel pressure to make the same decision other twin families have made. You know your twins the best. Speaking from experience with our girls, we were homeschooling when they were preschool age, and we homeschooled till they were about in the 3rd grade. But when they did go into public school, we had them in separate classes, and that had some challenges. Later, we had them in the same class, and that had some challenges. And both cases had benefits. So talk through some of that with your preschool director based on what you know about your kids, their personalities, and their behaviors. All right, so what if your twins are different and they're different already at different times? Like they're not ready to go to preschool at the same time. This is more common than a lot of people expect. Your twins may share a birthday, but they don't necessarily share a developmental timeline. One of your kids may be socially eager and emotionally ready, while the other is still working on toilet training or is going through a clingy phase with high separation anxiety. If that's where you land, you have a couple options. You can wait until both are ready, send the ready twin ahead and hold the other back for a few months, or enroll them both and give it a trial run. There's no universal right answer here. It's okay to adjust as you go. Talk it through with your pediatrician, and if you're unsure which direction makes the most sense for your situation, consult with the doctor, consult with the preschool director, and talk to your partner, and you can sort out what you think will be best for your twins. So we talked about some signs that your kids may be ready. What about signs that preschool might be a bit premature, that they're not ready? So sometimes the honest answer is not yet, and that's completely fine. Every child gets there in their own time. So here are some signs that might be worth waiting a few more months. Prolonged and intense separation anxiety, little to no interest in playing near or with other children, significant speech or language delays. They're still working through major transitions at home, like a new sibling or a move or a routine change. And there's frequent and intense tantrums that are escalating rather than calming with age. Now, none of these are permanent disqualifiers. You can kind of weigh them with some of the ready-to-go signals we talked about earlier. You may just need to have some more practice at home before they're ready to move on to preschool. So what can you do to prepare your twins for heading off to preschool? If they've got a lot of those self-sufficiency things taken care of, they may be ready to go and sail through that first week without a hitch. But there are a few things you can do to help get them ready at home. Visit the classroom of the preschool before you actually go to preschool. That'll help them reduce anxiety because they'll be familiar with where they're heading off to the preschool for the first day. You can read books together about preschool that are designed for children. Books like First Day Jitters by Julie Dannenberg or The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. These help normalize the experience that your kids will be having so they kind of know what to expect because they saw it and read it in a book. Practice the morning routine. So run through it a few times before school starts so mornings feel predictable and not chaotic. Keep your goodbye short and confident. We talked about this before. When you have a long, drawn-out goodbye, it signals that something scary is going to happen. So a warm, confident, I'll be back after school, I love you is the right call. And always talk positively about preschool. At home, your twins are going to pick up and read your energy. So if you're nervous, they're going to be nervous too, and they're going to sense it. So you've been watching your twins closely since the day they were born. You know their quirks, their fears, their strengths, and their patterns better than any checklist ever could. Use the signs and the framework we've talked about. Check with your pediatrician if you have any developmental concerns. And then Trust what you see your kids doing every day. Preschool's a big, exciting milestone, and your twins are going to find their way into it at exactly the right time. So if you've already made a decision about preschool, I'd love to hear what helped guide your decision and how old were your kids when they headed off to preschool. You can reach out to me via email, joe@dadsguidetotwins.com. I am also on Instagram and X at TwinDadJoe, and I would love to hear from you. And speaking of dropping your kids off at preschool, you could be rocking an amazing t-shirt designed specifically for twin dads. We also have shirts for twin moms and the twins themselves over at twin-t-shirt-company.com. Once again, that's twin-t-shirt-company.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.